Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a very nice but windy day here in Florida, so hopefully you guys can hear me. Today we're going to work on the car that I kind of showed you but didn't really show you in my last video, so let's check it out and I'll show you what I got. You guys probably already guessed it, but it's an Eos. I had zero intentions on buying a fourth car. I don't need four cars. I have the room for it, but just don't really need four cars. However, once I bought this guy, already secured it, it was on its way. My friend Janine had this for her daughter and was having some problems with it starting, staying running. Batteries died, alternator died. They replaced a bunch of parts, couldn't figure it out, so they bought her an A5, and now I have the Eos. It was a good deal. Came with new coilovers, new suspension bushings, new front control arms, brand new battery, brand new alternator, brand new starter, a whole bunch of new parts, and there's a car cover that's sitting in the back seat right now that I haven't put on. Oof, we're sitting inside this thing now and it's hot. But my intention with this car was to get it going, probably put the suspension parts on it and maybe register it and drive it and fix it up. I don't really know. I kind of still might do that, but I might also look into swapping in this engine and this transmission into the Mark III. A 3.2 with a DSG would be really cool in that car. I don't know the logistics of it and what it would take to make everything work and have all the modules talk to each other, so I do need to look into that a little bit, but that would be a pretty cool swap, I think, and it would make for a very nice driver. I mean, this thing has DSG, AC, all the goodies. If I can get all that to work, that would be ideal. But again, I don't know the logistics of it and what it would take to make all that stuff work. So here's the inside of the Eos right now. It doesn't work. The battery's dead. I did pull out the radio because it has an aftermarket radio, and I'm afraid that this was causing a draw on the car. That would be my best guess. I mean, just looking at the wiring and what's going on here. So I'm gonna see if I can hook up my jump pack to it now that this is all removed. Maybe I can get it running. Maybe this is all it was. It's really hard to say. Like I said, they did replace the alternator and the starter, so I'm probably gonna have to go and check the wiring on that stuff. But this is where we're at for now. I'm gonna go ahead and get the hood popped and see if we can get this thing fired up. All right, so there it is. The VR6. We got my jump pack hooked up. We're gonna try this. I'm gonna go ahead and get in, see if it starts. All right, so far, nothing. Now, the battery is very, very dead. All right, we've got lights on the dash. I suspect this isn't going to do anything. Yeah, I mean, I'm turning the key. Absolutely nothing is happening. Yeah. So, that's fun. And there the battery died again because it is just extremely dead. All right, so far nothing. Just checking the battery connections, and as you can see, the Eos has two 6-volt batteries wired in series. It's really weird, and they're Optimus, so I don't understand it, but hey, it is what it is. Volkswagen does weird things sometimes. As you can see, I mean, everything is hooked up. This I was thinking is for something, but that's just for the backup camera that they installed right there. So I'm not worried about that. It's not hooked up to power. I did hook up the MAF just because it was unhooked. You never know. Again, with all the sensors and everything that are in these. So let's take a look at the starter wiring. All right, so they did replace the starter. The wiring appears to all be good and tight and there. So I'm not too worried about that. I just don't think this thing has enough juice to get it going. And if we go in here, yeah, I mean, I get absolutely nothing when I turn the ignition and then the battery dies again. This is gonna be a lot of fun. All right, so here is where we're at now. I'm gonna go ahead and pull off the clamshell. Nothing is happening when I'm turning the key, so I think I'm gonna go in here and just inspect everything and just make sure everything is hooked up, make sure nothing came loose. I did see a post online about the little ignition switch that clips in on somebody. It did come off on their car, so I'm gonna check that and just take a look. I mean, worst case, if this is all that needs to be replaced, that shouldn't be too bad to do, but we're gonna do that and see what happens. All right, guys, so I think I'm gonna go get a new ignition switch. I went ahead and pulled this one out already. I'll show you how to do it. It's pretty easy. It's not too bad to do. So basically you just need to remove the clamshell around the whole steering column and all that. And then in here, this ignition switch clips in this way, like that. And you can see these little white tabs on either side, here and here. And it just clips in and it gets held in with that. The way I got this out was, of course, I disconnected the wire harness first. Then I went ahead and took two just really thin nails actually, and stuck one in here and here, pushed in, it released those clips, and I was able to pull this out. A lot of stuff I saw online said this could be the issue. So I'm gonna go run AutoZone. It sounds like they actually have one in stock, so I'm gonna go see if they have it. If they do, I'm gonna give it a shot, see if that fixes it, and we can get this thing fired up. All right guys, we got the ignition switch. It's a Duralast, so hopefully it worked. I typically go for like all OEM parts, but you know, just want to see if this fixes it. So heading back to the house now. We'll check in when we get there. Okay, we're back. Got the new ignition switch. Let's go ahead and pop this in. All right, so it should only go in one way, and then clicks in place. Excuse the neighbor, he's over there sawing something. And then there's a little plug back here that you're gonna have to plug in. Like that. And I did unhook this module earlier just because I thought I needed to, so I'm just gonna plug that back in. Okay, all right, I'm gonna pop the hood, we'll hook up the jump pack again, and we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed. Okay, not optimistic, but let's see what happens. Nope. Nothing. Oh, and it's dead again. Okay, on to the next thing. All right, so still no luck. I believe I got my battery tender hooked up, and it seems like it's reconditioning the batteries. So I'm gonna let this sit and see what happens. I was missing the ignition fuse of all things, and I'm like, oh cool, that's it. Put a new fuse in, didn't start still. So here we are. I am gonna go chill out for a little bit and let the battery charger do its thing. Hopefully it charges the batteries back up to where they need to be, and then we can further diagnose this thing by hooking up the laptop and trying to figure out what is going on. So I'll be back in a little bit. What's up guys? New day. We got a part from Amazon. It's a cam position sensor. Did a little bit of research. It's possible that this will fix this starting issue. So I'm gonna throw it in and give it a shot. I did have the car hooked up to my battery charger last night, and everything seems pretty good with the battery now. I mean, before when I was trying to start it, you know, I would turn the key and this thing would flash and go crazy. The AC's still doing that. I don't really know what's up with that, but it's still, as you can see, still have no start. So we're gonna pop the hood, throw this thing in, see what it does. So the VR does have two of these, one there and one there. Obviously there's two cams, so it's gonna have two sensors. I am just gonna swap one out. I can only get one today, next day. So I'm gonna swap one out and just see if that does anything. I don't know if there's a way to like test these, but let's give it a shot. Looks like I need a Torx, probably a T30 bit it's looking like. So let me go grab that. Looks like I have to take this bracket off first because it is in the way. Looks like there's a 10 mil ground that I've got to take off. Sun going down since we had daylight savings time. Losing sunlight fast. I had to run some errands today, so just trying to get this done. Okay, bracket is moved. Bolt is out. And we've got the old sensor removed. New sensor's in. Let's go ahead and get this bolt back in, and let's not drop it. Okay, that's good. Let's get this 10 mil back in there. Only goes back in one way. Washer against the engine. Get the ground back on. Tighten that up. Put this Torx back in on the bracket. Plug the sensor back in. Alright, all that's plugged back in, rear bank cam sensors replaced. Front brake is still the old one, unfortunately, but hopefully, fingers crossed, it was just the rear one. If it actually starts or tries to crank, then we'll know, and then the MAF can be plugged back in. I have a feeling that this is not going to work, but hey, we'll give it a shot anyways. Nada. What's up, guys? It's another day, another part. So I was sent a video, a YouTube short from Paul at DAP, Deutsche Auto Parts, basically with an Eos with the same problem that I'm having. No start, no communication on multiple modules. He replaced this guy right here. This is the main power relay, I believe is what it's called. It's under the dash. I pulled mine. I think it tested okay, but honestly, I don't know where it's supposed to be. So I ordered this, it came today. As you can see, I'm still in my work clothes because I'm too excited. I really, really hope this works. Let's go ahead and pop it in. So down here is the module, right here. It goes in the slot over here all the way to the side. Let's see what happens. This will only go in one way. And, I don't know, wish me luck, okay? Now I don't know if the car still has enough power because it has been sitting. I don't have any dash lights and still nothing. Oh my goodness. All right, so in his video when he did this, all of the dash lights lit up, but as you can see, I'm getting no dash lights. Okay, so a little bit more investigating. The relay obviously did not fix the problem. I got hot, so I went in and changed. There's a main control relay that's next to the relay that I replaced, and it's very hot to the touch. So a little bit more research, and I found that it's most likely the entire VCM. That guy right there. It makes sense on why it would be that now that I'm thinking about it, because when I put the key in, I don't get any additional dash lights. The AC controls kind of are weird. The AC does not work. The fans don't work, the fans don't turn on. So that to me says something is wrong with that module. So I'm gonna see if I can find one for fairly cheap, maybe pick up a second-hand one on eBay or something like that. I will have to attempt to go into VAGCOM and get the coding for it, because when I install the new one, it's not gonna have the same coding. So I wanna make sure that all the correct options are programmed on the VCM when I get the new one. And we will see if that works. So I'm gonna do that, and I'll see you guys another day to continue this video and hopefully, fingers crossed, start the car in the next one. See you then. Welcome back, everybody. It has been a week or two. It is now the day after Black Friday and Thanksgiving, so I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. Hope you had some good food and you got to spend some time with family. We got the module that I ordered from eBay that should get this Eos fixed and back on the road. I've got it covered up right now, and actually I've got a cover for the Mark III as well. Nice little cover from Cover King. It actually is a really great quality. Very happy with that. We need to get the cover off of this thing and hopefully swap this in and fire the car up today. So I'm gonna go and get the cover off. We'll get started. All right. Cover's off. We're in the car. I am trying to decide if I want to attempt to read the old module. The battery is completely flat, so there's not much I can do there. I'll have to try to hook up one of my other cars with jumpers. I don't think my charger is going to do enough to get this thing back to life. And if the module is dead, I'm not even sure if I can read the coding from it to copy over to the new module. I did get this from eBay, and it did say that it was for an Eos in the listing. But then if you look right there, it says Golf 5. So there's a chance this is coded for a Golf 5, which would be annoying because I bought one specifically for an Eos so that I could theoretically just hook this up and be good to go. The Eos and the Golf 5 should share some similar coding. Obviously this has a convertible top though, so that's for sure gonna be different. So I don't know, I may just hook it up and try to jump it and see if it'll fire and go from there. Maybe if I get it fired, I can get the battery charged, I can put the old one back in, I can read the coding. I don't know what to do here, but I'm gonna figure it out. And this is very easy to take out. You can see the little red thing here. You just push this over to unlock it, and then you can actually go and unhook all of the wiring harnesses and everything. So pretty easy to get out, and it is just right down there up under the dash. If this is something that you guys need to do, it's right there, very easy to get to. So I'm gonna sit here and think about this for a minute, figure out what I want to do, and I'll be right back. What's up, guys? It's been a while. It has probably been a month since I filmed about the Eos. You can probably tell by the length of my beard now that it's been so long. But anyways, today's video, if you paid attention in other videos, this was turned around the other way. It was backed into the spot right in front of the Mark III. And now it is turned around. So what does that mean? Let's find out. Okay, that's a good sign. The auto present window came down. And we've got dash lights. We've got things happening. We've got noises. The AC still blinks like that. I don't really know why, but you know, whatever. And yeah, car starts. The car's running. Tire pressure too low, you know, whatever. No check engine light, so that's a win. I still need to scan it, see if there's any codes, see what's going on with everything inside the computer system. But we got the car running. This has been the bane of my existence. I have not touched the car in probably a month because every time I did and every time I tried something, I would just get frustrated and give up and go inside. I'm on Christmas break right now from work. Thankfully, my work is awesome and they give us like 2 weeks off at the end of the year. We do a holiday shutdown. So I don't have to go back until the 2nd of January. So I've got tons of time. I decided yesterday and the day before to kind of see what's what with this car and try to figure out what exactly is going on to try to get it running. Let me go ahead and get the hood propped open and I will show you exactly what I had to do to get this figured out. I went through, like, tested all of the fuses inside the car, under the engine bay. I even bought a new CCM from eBay, hooked this up. That was in the last video, I think, and that still didn't fix it. So what I did yesterday, fixed it. I've got it hooked up to a charger. I think the batteries are good now. They were flat for quite a while, so they may have been damaged being an Optima, like a deep cycle battery. If you don't keep power to them, sometimes they just don't work anymore. So I've had them charged for the last day. I'm gonna see if that makes a difference. I still need to see if there's a parasitic draw in the car. There might still be. I went ahead and pulled the radio. I thought the radio was pulling power. It may have not been that though, because I found out from somebody in Germany that the VIN on this car and the year of this car, it's an 08, it is new enough that the CAN bus can accept aftermarket radios without having a parasitic draw. So I don't think that it was the radio now that I know that, but the way that this thing is wired up is kind of sus, because there's like this, you know, it's just an all black wire. It could be a ground, could be something else. I gotta look up some wiring schematics. These brown ones are capped off and going somewhere. These are tapped into. I don't know what happened in here. That's always the struggle with buying used cars that have had modifications. You know, this had an OEM style aftermarket radio, as you can see from this harness, because typically the OEM radio would just plug into that there and you'd be good to go. But because it had this and it has other wires coming off of it and augs and all kinds of stuff, I don't know what happened with this wiring, what happened with this radio. This could be causing the draw right here. I mean, this wire, you know, it's hard to say, but I need to figure that out. So let me get the hood propped and I'll show you what we fixed to get this thing going. All right, so we've got the hood propped. I had to use this because the strut's dead. Not a big deal. You can hear it's running. You can probably hear that high-pitched squeak. Hopefully it's not overpowering my voice, but that to me indicates that the PCB is pretty much shot. So that's going to need to be replaced. There's also a kind of a hum, a lower toned hum happening on, I think, this side. Now the alternator has been replaced, and I don't know if they did a belt or not. The belt looks okay. Everything seems to be running smoothly down there and not being held up or anything. So I don't know what that hum is. It could also have to do with the PCB. This is almost back together. I just have to bolt this back down. But let me show you what I had to fix to get this thing going. I'm doing my research, and Googling, and trying to find photos and information, because the owner's manual that comes with this car doesn't give you much info for the fuse panel under the hood. It kind of tells you some basic fuses here and there. Like this 20th here I replaced because that has to do with the starter, but it wasn't popped. I just replaced it because why not? But in my research, I found that spot 49 is for some power, the starter, some dash lights. And when I was looking at everything, it was in spot 50, and there was nothing in spot 49. So I kind of took a chance. I put it from spot 50 to spot 49. I don't think 50 is anything significant. It, according to what people are saying, is that there's really nothing that's supposed to be in spot 50. So I went ahead and put it here, turn on the key, and dash lights came on. So then I tried to start it, and it clicks like there's no battery. You know, it kind of does the when you try to turn the key. And I'm like, okay, that right there is a million times better than where we were before, because before I got no noises, I got no dash lights, I got nothing at all. So once I heard those clicks, I'm like, all right, well that tells me it could be battery, could still be starter. They did replace the starter as well, so it's possible that that was still bad, or you know, maybe it was a bad new one or whatever, because unless you get OEMs, sometimes they're like rebuilt and stuff like that. So then I went ahead and I hooked up my trickle charger to the car, left it overnight. Overnight it did throw an error because my charger is very particular. If you don't already have power in the car, it'll kind of throw an error and it won't really like recondition it. So I didn't think anything of it. The next day I reset it and kind of went along my day. And then I went and picked up my buddy Josh's charger. He has a Deep Cycle Marine charger that he said will for sure repair the batteries, because Deep Cycle Marine typically use like these AGM style Optima batteries. So I'm like, okay, cool. I get back and I get the car cover off the car, and I'm like, let me just see if it starts. Sure enough, it fired up. It fired right up actually. Just one or two cranks, very typical. Started up. It kind of sounded like crap initially because the air mass sensor wasn't hooked up to the intake. I had the intake completely out of the car, so I went ahead and hooked that back up. I took it for a drive, drove fine. Had to try to knock the rust off the rotors because it's been sitting for so long. The tires are definitely a little bit low, but drove fine, shifts fine. Sounds okay besides the PCV noise and of course that humming that I don't really know what that is. But I don't really hear any like chain slap or anything crazy. It's good. It's done, it's fixed, it's good to go. So now where does that leave me with this car? Originally I bought it to probably flip it. There's a dent on the passenger door. There's some scrapes. The one headlight needs to be replaced. I mean, it needs a little bit of love, but overall the car is very clean. So I was gonna put the new suspension on it, kind of get it back to being a good car. See if I can get the door PDR'd and see if I can grab a new headlight. It's got some scrapes on the bumpers. That's kind of whatever. That's beyond my control right now. I didn't want to get too deep into this to where like I wouldn't make anything back. I mean, obviously I'm making content with it. That's all good and grand, but if I can't make any money flipping the car, then what's the point in doing all of this? So as the car sits right now, it's for sale. I'm not into it for a whole bunch of money. You know, I would take anything over $3,000 for it, for example. It's a good car, just needs a little bit of love, a little bit of money, a little bit of time, nothing really crazy, but this will make a very fun car. I haven't seen too many Eoses with a 3.2 and a DSG. Apparently it's a pretty rare combination. So if any of you guys are interested in the Eos, let me know. You know, I can do a full little walkthrough of the car. Actually, you know what? We'll do that right now. Let's check it out. All right, so a little walk around. You can see here, it's got some scrapes. This is broken. Some cracks from where whatever hit it. So bumper looks okay. A little bit of marring here. Definitely this headlight should be replaced, or at least the lens. This headlight over here appears to be okay, minus the bulb. The bulb is flickering, so there might be an issue there with the bulb, but you can also see back here, it's kind of just there. So that needs to be taken care of. That shouldn't be a big deal. Silver neck hose, not a big deal. No license plate holes as far as I can tell. Yeah, that looks okay. It's not terrible. The hood actually is very clean for its age. I don't really see any like major rock chips or anything. The roof, like I said, the top does work. This part back here should be sanded and maybe just vinyl wrapped because it has the clear coat that is pretty typical. some scratches here and there, you know, nothing that a 2008 Volkswagen wouldn't really have. Back here, taillights, they all work. This is the other part where something hit it, so a little bit of paint missing. But then the significant part on the outside is this. There is a dent that's about here. So, I mean, that could probably be PDR. It's not as bad now that I'm looking at it again. Before, when I got the car, I thought it was pretty terrible, but it's not like crazy, you know. A little bit of fading, mirror caps, that's whatever. You can get new mirror caps, not a big deal. Wheels are, I think, off of a GTI. I believe they're definitely not Eos wheels. I think they're off of like a Mark 6, maybe a Jetta, maybe a GLI. But yeah, this is the car. Show you the interior. Some things need to be kind of, you know, I got to put all this back together. Don't worry about that. The door panel just needs to be attached a little bit better. It's easy. Seats are pretty clean. I think they just need to be conditioned. There's not really any like crazy bolster wear. There's a few little cracks here. Up top, it is, the glue has let loose. Again, this is essentially a Mark 5, so kind of expect that. Dash is clean, the other door is clean, the other seat, you know, nothing crazy. About the same as this one. Back seat, everything is all there. Just need to put it back together. And then the headliner here, of course, you know, same thing. This is like a sunshade, which is pretty cool. But that's just kind of, I don't know, I guess it's got foam in there, so that cracked over time. And then same with back here. It's just loose, I think because it is a convertible top, so it's built a little bit differently than a typical headliner. And then you got your same sort of glue there that let loose. But overall, I mean, it's not bad. It's a good car. I don't think the top leaks. I had it uncovered on my driveway at one point, but that was when the battery was dead. So I don't know if the window was maybe cracked and it wasn't sealed properly, because once the battery's dead, with these auto present windows, it's not going to automatically go up and down like it should. But I did get some water over on this side of the floor. It came in from here. So again, I think it was the seal on the window not being up all the way and not the roof. My friend Janine had this car. It did not leak in her driveway. She never put the car cover on. She didn't even get the cover until she couldn't get the windows back up. And that's when she bought the cover. So this thing sat out, and if you guys know Florida, it does rain a pretty good amount here. I mean, it even rained a little bit today. And I don't see any water here. I don't feel any water. It does have a little bit of an odor, of a funk from that previous rain that got in here. So I'm gonna see if I can get that cleaned up and get it deodorized before I sell this thing. All right, well, this is super long-winded. I did not mean to do that. I just wanted to show you guys the car is started, it's working, it's driving. I'm ecstatic. I'm very happy that I was finally able to figure this out. I'm not happy that it was just a fuse the whole time. That's a little frustrating, but hey, that's how it is when you don't have like workshop manuals and you're not used to working on this type of thing. Electrical, I can do electrical, but it's not my like forte. I'm great at like wiring up radios and systems and air ride and making extremely clean installs, as you can see from the S4 that's in the garage. But when it comes to like diagnosing, it's very, very difficult when you don't have the manuals that the dealerships have and the tools and everything that you need to get this stuff figured out. But as long as you kind of take a step back and take a look at it and try to figure it out, there's no harm in giving it your best while you have it before throwing in the towel and taking it somewhere. And I'm glad I didn't do that, because it would have cost me diagnostic hours, a tow to wherever it would need to go, and then whatever, you know, they might find other things like, oh, this is wrong and this is wrong, but in reality, it was just a fuse. So very thankful for that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video here. I've talked way more than I intended to. if you're interested in the car, if you're local, if you're not, we can work out shipping, whatever. Like I said, anything over $3,000, I'm happy. I get my money back, made a little bit of content. I just kind of want the space now. I want to get this out of the driveway. And speaking of driveway, the Mark III is also for sale. I know I haven't done anything with it, but I'm realizing that I just don't have the time right now. Just with work, I don't have the garage space. My current goal is to get these cars gone. I may sell the e-Golf. I may go back to just driving the S4 for a while. And I want to move into a spot where I've got more space, I've got a bigger garage, so I can take on more projects and I can create more content and get it out to you guys. I obviously would love to build that Mark III, swap it, do everything, you know, under the sun that I can do to it, but I don't have the space. I don't really want to leave the S4 out of the garage while the Mark III is in there, because as you know, one project can turn into 10 projects, and then it can take a year instead of taking a month like you thought it was going to take. So that's kind of where I'm at now. If you're interested in the Mark III, let me know. Hit me up on socials, on Instagram, and we can talk about it. It's a very, very clean car, very nice. I will have it titled before it gets sold, so let me know if you're interested in that as well. All right, I've said it before, I've talked long enough. Let's go ahead and end this here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sticking with me in this video through my trials and tribulations and frustration. I definitely appreciate it. And thank you to everybody who reached out on Facebook to try to help me with this. I did post in the Burn All Mark V's group, and that's where I kind of got a little bit of assistance from people who have had similar issues with their Mark V, Golfs, GTIs, the Eos, because essentially they're all kind of the same chassis and same wiring. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I did just hit my first kind of mini goal, second goal coming up very, very soon, 1,000 subs. That will get me into the YouTube partner program. Then I can start creating more content. I can maybe start making a couple bucks here and there off of videos, and then I can start doing more things, more car things, everything you guys like to watch. Oh, and it is Christmas Eve. Tomorrow's Christmas. For those of you who celebrate the Christmas holiday, Merry Christmas. For those of you who celebrate other holidays, Happy Holiday, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, just make sure to enjoy it, spend time with your friends, your family, and just take the time off to really be thankful for what you have. All right, until next time, I'll see you guys then.